Okay, we're live. We're going to see how this audio sounds, running the audio through here, camera over there. I'm joined by Caleb and Luke. Before we get into it, I'm going to align the planets. Both of these guys have...
Wait, pause. Is that ticking going to be in the recording then?
Yeah, maybe I'll lower it.
All right.
Yeah, normally it's like further away from where the microphone is because
Sure.
I have like my handheld mic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But this is like
I was
all...
gonna say, that's going to be a lot of ticking.
Yeah, we're like on the road right now. You know,
All
we're
right.
doing like some live road recordings.
All right.
If you've like followed the writing I've done, you would have known of both of these guys if you had read every sentence. Not that anyone should, because I've mentioned like the people who stood in my wedding, and both of these guys stood in my wedding this past September, which I'm super grateful for.
Yeah. Honor, man.
And then recently, there's some pictures of Caleb as part of I was talking about going on a road trip to Los Angeles, and Caleb and I did that together. We all met in college and have been friends since college. And yeah. So the first question I'm going to ask, and this doesn't need to be a stroking Ethan's ego question, but like, I've been doing this internet thing for a little while, and I've like made some like internet friends, but like it's very different than like real life friends. And so I guess the question to ask is like, what do you guys know about me that you would be like, this would be helpful for a stranger to know about Ethan, that they'll never know being a stranger, even if they were to like listen to his voice across time. And it doesn't need to be it can be a negative thing. It can be, this is like Ethan's dark, long shadow that, you know?
Yeah.
Where does that question take you?
Well, it's tough because, without knowing all the interactions that you've had online, it's hard to know like what you've revealed and what you haven't. But I would say like the first thing that comes to mind without like thinking too hard about it is that Ethan will take an idea, or he'll take some kind of thought process and he'll blow it up into something like so magnificent and so wild.
He's stroking my ego.
He's struggling. Yeah.
But it's good and bad. Like a brand dial back. Like in college, you would like be like, I like this girl, and you'd be like, I'm going to like buy a flower shop and take all the petals and like have them rain from the heavens so I can ask this girl out in like the most romantic way, when like I barely know her middle name. You know,
I know. Yeah.
Pro, con, everywhere in between. He's just gonna take something and he's gonna say like, I'm not just gonna like go on a date. I'm literally gonna like live out this wild like Hollywood movie scene in this moment with this person, even though like it doesn't. You know, he embellishes. You embellish. That maybe that's where I was trying to get to.
That's a good answer.
I feel like I've known you in stages, and so I knew that part of you in college, and that's the part of you that I was preparing to know when we went out to LA, when we had a lot of time together. And I remember very, very early on, even before LA, that was not necessarily the Ethan that I knew in that next phase of life. Because before moving out to LA, we're going to go find housing. And I told you, and there was no chance it's going to work, but I was like, hey, I'm trying to just get the ball rolling. I know somebody, I think they were in like San Clemente or something like that. It's like, I know them enough, and they might give us some sort of housing for a bit of time just so we can get like out there. We'll be like an hour and a half from LA, but we'll at least be out in that area. And there was a moment of pause, and Ethan said, how does that help my situation in any way, shape, or form? And I just remember going, Oh, I wasn't I wasn't prepared for this. So there's a portion of Ethan that's just like he will deal with any sort of like thoughts or ideas you might have, and then if he's just like, how does this actually, he'll call out the BS and just be like, I don't understand, what are you even saying right now?
Also pros and cons to this one.
So there's pros and cons. So there's like
but that's any trait, right?
Exactly. But I think if you were to know him in person, there are a lot of different shades of Ethan that I think like the person that you're seeing online is like, there's a part where he's like wanting to give all of his thoughts and ideas and put that out there. But then like there's also those parts where he just like, he'll call it as it is, or he is really quiet and like into himself. And it's almost like you're recharging or something, or you're just like, I need time to myself, even if I'm in a space with other people.
Yeah, you got to go Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
You got to just sit there and like.
Yeah. And it'll throw you off because you might just be like, wait, what's wrong with me? And then like the next hour, he'll like just be right back at it and be, I say he is, if you're whatever. You're right there, back at like that full throttle, talking about like the biggest way that you can impress somebody or, do something magnificent.
So since you're already talking, like you and I have had a lot of conversations about technology.
Yeah.
And it's funny because this year that was the thing I kind of chose to focus on with like writing and recording stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you separately have also like bought some books, done some reading, or like thinking a lot about technology.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about? How's that for a paralyzing question?
Where am I?
Tell me everything about you.
I'm thinking about I'm gonna use I don't even know if this is the right Anglican term, but I'm gonna try to use media res.
Oh, I don't know Anglican term. I'm becoming Anglican. I'm not Anglican yet.
I might at this point be more Anglican than you, even though I'm Presbyterian. I think about the middle ground where one of like the biggest joys that I had with some old friends, some friends from growing up, we just got together like a few weeks ago and played Halo 2, and it was the best. It was.
You said a LAN party?
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's where you connect.
Do you know what a LAN party is?
That's where you connect everything in the room. There's no internet. It's
so I used to do LAN parparties. This was just four. This was just four of us just playing.
So you could all get on one machine.
We're all.
You guys sit on one couch.
We were sitting on one couch.
Because you didn't have wireless.
We did do the wireless 6. It was like on Xbox One. I don't even know the Xbox.
Oh, sure. Because the back for that one.
Yeah. So there was like the Master Chief Collection, and you could play like the original Halo 2 in its like original graphics or whatever.
Sure.
But it's not an old system, and so that was amazing. And I think back to like I played video games too much when I was young, but like I also had so many beautiful times with like friends playing games, and that's one example of like finding the good in technology is part of what God's created and is part of his world. And I think it's the thing where there's a need to, and we've talked about this through our other podcast, to be determined.
Caleb has this thing. We've been sending voice messages.
Yeah.
And I told him this past week, I was like, we should probably like start using different applications so we can include Luke. Because I kind of feel guilty that like we're having these long voice texts and Luke's not a part of it.
No, that's all good.
You're like, I don't actually want to be in it.
It's all good actually if I'm not in it.
But Caleb was like, this would be like, we're having a great podcast right now, man. Like we could just like these voice texts, we could just download these and put these to the internet. And like people would love to hear just the two of us talk.
Sure.
But now like now you're here, so now there's three of us talking
Yeah,
to
no, it's good.
Or we could just do it. We could do the recording, and you could just listen,
Yep. Add my
and
commentary.
then give your commentary. Be the guy.
like Mystery Science 3000, where he's like listening in on his friend's conversation and like inputting his.
Exactly. That's all I need. But there's the idea of like using technology, but using something that feels like a lost art or a lost element of what it means to be human, which is like using wisdom to discern what is right, using morality, thinking about, is this thing feeding me? Is this part of technology feeding me, or is it destroying me? And thinking about it more like, I don't know, off the top of my head, like some other sort of a substance, like having a drink or, tobacco or whatever.
Like nutrition almost.
Right.
Technological nutrition.
Yeah. Because our conversations through, those recordings have been like it's been very enriching to my life. And if that hadn't happened, I'd be the worst off for it.
Would you like to comment on our conversation? However,
I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I guess I need a little bit more context. So continue.
Okay, what is it you're trying to wrap your head around? What I'm saying, or what the
I obviously heard the question, and I was thinking about like, well, if he asks me that, what am I going to say?
Yeah.
And then listening to your answer like wasn't necessarily like the answer that I was expecting for that question.
Sure.
And so then I was like, I need to like keep listening.
what were you expecting?
Well, repeat the question so I can get back.
I said, what are your thoughts on technology?
Yeah, what are your thoughts on technology? Yeah, and so Kaleb jumped into like, I guess I was expecting more like, is it good or is it bad? Where Kaleb jumped into like the nostalgia of like it and how it he connects with it on an emotional level.
He is probably the most emotional of the three of us.
That's very true.
Publicly.
Yeah, it's a good point.
You're privately, you're very emotional.
Oh, very, very much
Yeah.
so. Yeah, and I didn't bring it up, but I was gonna say like that was the other thing I was gonna say about you is that you're a very emotional person.
I think I wear my heart on my sleeve more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I
So,
keep them up my sleeve.
Yeah.
Like
And you bury it.
emotions wise, like I cry probably every other day. But like the last time anyone has seen me cry outside of my wife or my child, it's like it's probably been months or years.
Yeah.
My emotions are a fun trick where I like keep it in my sleeves and I'm like, oh look at this trick, I have emotions.
Yeah.
Let's put it back in.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you bury it in the
or,
backyard and
like,
privately go and like weep at the grave.
I would say like with you, your emotions, when I've experienced your emotions, I consider them like tornado sirens. Like something really, really bad is about to happen. Or not necessarily bad, but something really elevated. Like if your emotions are coming out, it's because the situation has elevated to such a degree that like you can no longer hold them in, and I know you're good at holding them in. So when they come out, I'm like, oh crap! Like at your wedding they came out, which makes sense. Like
at my wedding, I
would have expected that. Like that's like the stress, the joy, the fear, and all those things that you're juggling. I would expect that, but like
I was stressed until the moment I started walking.
Right.
And then it was like, it's showtime.
Yep.
And like I was gonna say the actor part of me came out, which is true, but it sounds awful.
Yeah, where it's like it's almost like you're putting on a show.
Yeah.
But I did the same thing.
It felt like I was like, maybe I don't like that. It's like stepping up to the plate in baseball,
Sure.
where it's like, this is the moment, and I can't miss this, which is a show.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's also like, if we're gonna win this game, I have to hit the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's okay to admit that. I think that when you're doing and we're already getting way off topic, but when you're in
No, this is good.
when you're in a ceremony, the authenticness of the ceremony is in that like you showed up and you're there to complete it. Like the motions that you go through like are not probably super authentic in that moment. Like during my wedding ceremony, when I'm like repeating the words and everything, I'm just trying to get them right. I'm not thinking about what they mean. You know, like I'm just like our wedding, like I already committed my life to God and Melissa before the ceremony happened. When the ceremony happened, it was like, you just got to do this so everyone else can like
see the thing that's already happened.
Right. Yeah. So like, I would say like my wedding day was not like an authentic experience for me. It was a lot of motions that like solidified what was already authentic. And so like for you to say like, well, it felt like a show, like that's what a ceremony is. It's a show that like basically, you know, says like this has been authenticated.
I feel like I mean, for me, it was like there is that element of like you have to get a home run here, but you had the way you have to get a home run is mixing the honest take of like all those things you commit to, because you have done that already, but doing it publicly is a different matter. You know, it's like a public profession, you know, like there's some gravity to doing that in front of people.
Yes.
And so there's there's something that's done outside of yourself or outside of your particular, you know, intimate situation with you and your wife, that you're doing this so that everybody else can be a part of it and can be a witness to it. And so you have that like desire to just make sure that you're walking that tightrope of being fully honest with yourself and with your wife in front of these people, and do it in a way, and that's the entertainment part, we're doing it in a way that's like, I want to be conscious of the fact that I'm not, how I'm talking, how I'm saying something is confident, is with, you know, a strong voice so that people can hear me, so that, you know, you're on stage, you know.
Like, you think about the whole thing, like don't forget to smile for the camera. It's like, well,
right,
like if I have to not forget, then like it's not natural in that moment,
right?
You know.
But you're also like, if you do forget, your wife's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
If there's no picture of the two of you, if you're just up there like,
and that's the thing.
Just a 1920s.
And this is a whole nother thing we don't need to get into, but
let's get into it.
People associate like facial expressions, like our culture thinks that you have to smile in order to be happy. And so when it's like, oh, smile for the camera, like I intentionally, when we had our wedding, I made sure that like I told Melissa, like, I don't want us smiling for this photo. And when you look back, it's a culture shift, because our ancestors didn't smile for the camera, and we smile for the camera. Both are fairly unnatural. Like the stern look isn't supernatural either, but like the candid look, like you never know, like if like spit's gonna be flying out of your mouth or what, like because it's candid, and so like you try to like stage it, but like the smile's cheesy. Like I don't like the smile in the photo.
Okay, so on the count of three, we're all gonna, don't look right now, we're all gonna look at the camera and we're gonna do our natural. Okay, we're gonna look at, and remember the camera's not here.
Yep.
What we naturally do?
Yeah. Like,
what do you mean natural?
Well, what's your natural face?
Whatever he's talking about, I don't know, man.
Like what do you look like when you don't think someone's taking a photo of you?
When I don't think someone's taking, well then it's like you're saying, when everybody looks unnaturally stern, then that's just what they all look like. So everybody actually does look like when you're taking those photos.
Maybe
from 1910.
Or were they actually like looking that way? Were they like trying, you know, like, because you can look like
trying to be frowny.
You know, like if you're trying to be like, you may like sit up straight or like, you know, they're all proper. They got their hands folded and they're like that. Like that's not how you look normally.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't like how I look normally, because I forget to like suck in. And I see a picture of myself and I go, I'm not that fat in the mirror. Like in the mirror, I'm way skinnier.
All right. So we're doing this?
Okay.
How long we do? Like we gonna hold it for a couple seconds?
Yeah, how many seconds do you want to hold for?
3 seconds.
Okay,
So
ready?
3 seconds. Okay, I gotta just take. I just gotta like reset. I gotta do a recharge.
No smiling, no weird sternness. Just look completely natural.
This is the most natural thing possible. Okay,
Go.
3, 2, 1. Can't.
I thought I was doing well.
He was doing it for a while. I looked over at him and he said, "Go." And he was looking. I was like,
I got like 5
I
seconds.
gotta look.
You can go back and watch that back and be like, yeah.
Well,
that's
so what's gonna happen with this is I do like I learned it from internet friends. Is like premieres, basically. So I've been these recorded conversations. I release them on like Thursday nights, and I set it for like a 7 p.m. Central premiere.
Yeah.
Which means this pre-recorded video goes up at 7 p.m. starts, and then a chat room appears, which allows people to like hang out and like chat for the 60 or 90 minutes or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we call it like VNA, virtually not alone.
Okay.
In the sense that like there's all kinds of people that are on the internet and like maybe don't have close friends that they can have like deep conversations with. Like I feel really blessed to have you guys as friends.
Yeah.
Because we've always had deep conversations.
Right.
Mhm.
And so then people like hang out in the chat room and like chat about whatever's happening, but also sometimes like the chat like just takes a turn and like there's a conversation, but the chat's not listening. They're just like hanging out with each other. It's almost cooler when that happens because it's like there's people who are friends, but they're only friends online, and they're like just get to share 60 minutes of time together because this chat room exists and like brought them to the same place.
Right.
It's kind of cool.
That's cool.
Let's talk more about technology. I want a question. I haven't gotten a question yet, other than the one about like talking about you.
You want me to ask a question, or do you want to ask Caleb a question?
I want you to ask me a question so I can talk about technology.
Let me do it.
give me a chance.
All right. Well, I hope you're ready to, to hit the ball because I'm going to throw at you. So don't miss this. You're up at bat.
Home run, baby.
I knew he was going to like the internet thing. I knew he was going to start.
Yeah, he's lighting up.
Playing for the camera.
I live online 8 hours a day, man. I spend more time online than you do.
For the last 3 months.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
this is a brand new thing.
No, he's in, dude.
Get the game quick.
So let's start there. You got a recent new job that you're online 8 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
But like you grew up on a, if you want to be more specific, I'll put that in your court. I'm going to say on a farm.
Yeah.
So you grew up around.
Not technology.
Not technology.
You didn't have a console growing up?
What?
You didn't have a game console growing up?
No.
Which I would say is unique for.
Yeah.
Is there, I'm going to assume this is true. I'm going to assume that there's now more technology in your life that you're using now versus when you were a kid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And now you have a son, and his life is going to be different than yours, but he's also on a farm.
Mm-hmm.
But now you use technology.
Yeah.
Like, what does that look like for like your father, now your father, and you have a son, and like, what do you hand off to your kids? How do you know like what's is good
and what's bad
and what should be continued and passed down in like your lineage?
Yeah. Technology wise. Yeah.
I mean, we can focus on that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, technology is a interesting word and kind of subject because technology isn't just computers and technology is everything, right? Like this chair I'm sitting in is technology. The carpet in this room is technology. So I think what you're more asking is the technology boom that we've experienced in our lifetime, which is electronical or electrical in nature, internet, computers, TV, video games, right? That's the way we're going.
It's your question. You swing.
That's the way I'm going because technology, obviously, 10,000 years ago, we didn't have carpet that looked like this. We may have had carpet, but it was animal skins. So like it's technology. But
Yeah.
let's go with digital technology.
Well, I think just the way you phrase that, I think it's so interesting to think about like the book of Genesis as a series of technological inclusions.
Sure.
And there's these things where you go, oh, this is the first time this appears in the story. And you're like, humans are using technology. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. No, there's an interesting. So I teach online. So I work online, and I spend a lot of time online. And so thinking about like what my children get exposed to, based off of what I grew up being exposed to and what I'm exposed to now, I think is an interesting thought process, one that my wife and I spend quite a bit of time on. And, I can give you some examples, like some rules that we've put in place, and then I can explain to you why. So our children do not watch TV. Our children do not go online. Now, they're pretty young. They wouldn't go online. They're 1.5 and 3.5. But they won't go online.
Until what?
Not sure. Potentially like high school age, maybe later.
I can't wait to see how middle school goes.
Yeah, well, when you're homeschooling, you have a little bit more of a control over things like that, and maybe there'll be some access for certain projects or things. But our purpose really has been with our kids to limit the digital technology that they're exposed to, not because it's bad. I think more because I think there is a richness in having technology too. So I don't want to like
This is where it's like,
I don't want to like eat my words, but I think there's a richness in waiting on certain exposures until you've learned to do things alternative ways, specifically when it comes to how you handle boredom. And you talked a lot about video games and how like you played a lot of video games. I think learning how to handle boredom, and now the train's starting to roll because I'm on a thought process here. How you learn to handle boredom really
Just left the station.
It really like dictates a lot about your personality and a lot about your skill sets as you grow older. So Kaleb will know this because Kaleb teaches high school as well, but like
he just doxed you.
What's that mean?
It means shared personal information on your behalf.
Yeah, general. I'm not going to say where you teach or like what you teach, but anyway, we'll notice that like if a kid has 10 seconds, he goes to his phone. It's because he can't handle this 10-second space of like being bored or being like in between, and so they go to their phone or they go to their computer or they go to a screen of some kind. And I think our society as a whole is doing that. You stand in line, you go to your phone.
I do that.
You have an ad on TV, you go to your phone. You have a moment here, a moment there, you go to your phone. And we're training ourselves to not know how to be bored and not know how to like think freely. We're being hit with something that is like helping us think or giving us something to think about.
Would you call it like mind control?
I don't know. I guess it depends on how you define it. It could be an aid in that. But I think just like with my son, looping it back around, like when I was growing up, when I was bored, I'd go outside and I'd look up at the sky, or I'd, count the blades of grass or watch the ants or what, these types of things. And I think that does something.
Wait, what did you say? You count the blades of grass?
You get like down in the grass and you like pick a section.
Are you about to call him an embellisher?
Yeah, dude.
No,
I just arguably might. One could say that Luke.
No, I've done it.
Add a little zest to his life with the story.
Yeah. No, it's happened. Or you like
counted the blades.
I might paint each individual blade in my yard.
Yeah. Not to count all of them, but I just think that there's value to learning how to entertain yourself, learning how to think for yourself, learning how to problem solve for yourself. I mean, that's the other thing. Like we're forgetting how to problem solve, because if there is a problem, the solution is easier to go and just like ask AI or ask Google for, versus actually like finding it, versus actually like discovering it. Because like typing something in or asking a question to something online isn't like a learning process. It's just a here it is.
Can I ask a question? So you've never asked AI a question for aid in something?
Oh no, I absolutely have.
Okay.
I'm not saying that.
Are you saying like it for like in keeping in
I'm
mind?
not saying that it's ever wrong.
son.
I'm saying that the more and more it becomes available, the more we just turn to that, and the less that I think we're losing the ability to discern when to use it and when not to use it.
Sure.
That's where I'm
Yeah,
at.
the wisdom.
Yeah, I'm not like this, like it's the end of the world, technology is taking over, because I use it every day.
Yeah.
I think that it's important to have discernment with anything in life, but technology, since that's what we're talking about,
right.
The discernment of knowing like, when do I use it? Like, I'm going to use it for my job if it makes a task easier, right? But if I'm in the woods and I see an animal behaving a certain way, and I want to know, like, what is that animal doing? Like, is it better to go to AI, or is it better to observe the animal and try to figure it out?
Right.
And I'd say like I have learned more about nature when I'm hunting in the woods without my phone than I ever did like watching a nature show or like asking the internet a question.
There's an importance to engaging with
what's
learning in front of you and what you're learning
absolutely
about, and then not having it. If you're, maybe I'm just thinking with technology, but if you're just engaging with one main, area of focus, then that's consuming your life. Like if your majority of your time is video games, majority of your time's TV or whatever, like that's consuming your life. It's interesting though, because like it doesn't necessarily work in the other way. Like if the majority of your time is spent outside, great.
Yeah. So let me
moderate. The idea just like with everything with moderation, it's like,
yeah. I can give you an example that you might be able to relate to. So the way I look at it is are you a hunter if you've never gone hunting, but you've played 1,000 hours of video games that were hunting video games? Are you a hunter?
Oh, if it's Big Buck Hunter at Buffalo Wild Wings, you are a hunter.
Are you a hunter?
Then absolutely. No, of course not.
So what's the difference? What's the difference between
You don't know the feeling of blood on your hands.
Well, but can you be a hunter without killing something?
Wait,
when do you become a hunter?
So are you
These
saying,
are good questions.
Are you saying the difference, like if you can't discern whether or not you're, I guess what's your point?
So when you take it across like to different things, we have all these violent video games that kids are playing, and it's teaching them violence.
Like Halo 2.
And like Halo 2 and SWAT, LAN parties.
SWAT, headshot, no shield.
And then, in these rare, extremely unfortunate events where you have like either a school shooting or some kind of like violent activity, whether it's a shooting or anything else, and they say like, well, I learned that on a video game. So when did they become violent? And like the video game apparently taught them to be violent, but when did they become violent? Did they become violent while playing the video game, or did they become violent when they acted on it in reality? Because it's the same question as the hunter. When do you become a hunter? When does technology, your interaction with technology and your interaction with reality, when does one become the other?
I have an answer. You want to go?
No, go ahead. I have something next. Cue it up.
the thing I'm thinking about is the imagination.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking about specifically like the Sermon on the Mount, where it's like, if you have looked at a woman with lust in your heart, you have committed adultery. And I haven't understood that until like the last month, where I've been thinking about the imagination, and I've been like, it clicked with me that like, if I was ever going to have an affair, it would start by me imagining the affair.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went, oh, that's like the Sermon on the Mount thing. It's like, if you're going to kill someone, we have different categories in the law of like crimes of passion, where it's like there was no imagination involved, versus like premeditated, where you imagined and you like imagined your way into reality almost.
Yeah, you play it over, and they will say this, like murderers will say this, like, I played it over 1,000 times in my mind before I did it the first time. Like Dahmer talked about that. Dahmer was big into porn, and then eventually he raped and killed his first person. But he talked about it like on death row, how like he played the scene 1,000 times in his mind before he ever committed his first crime.
Yeah. I think where my mind goes, I think about GTA. And
do you know what GTA is?
I do. Thank you for asking.
What does it stand for?
Grand Theft Auto.
When did you? When
I
did you
played
first play
the first one.
When did you first play the first one? Was like,
I never played the first
it was
one.
like 2D from like top down or something like that.
I don't know.
There's no way you played.
Oh yeah, it was like a top-down view.
Okay, but
I should have given it to him.
Of a kid. No, I played it. Because I didn't know what you were meaning when you said that. But it was a top-down view of a guy, and you'd be running. Yeah, I played that.
You get no more information.
I played it on. No, I'm trying to remember where I played it because I.
Pinball machine.
I'm not gonna remember, but I know that I remember like playing it and saying like, if my parents ever found out, they'd kill me.
Yeah. So did you play the 3D Grand Theft Auto?
No.
Okay.
No. I know about it though. I know it's like
right.
Considered pretty edgy.
Yeah. So I remember being 9, and I got in the car, and you're driving down the street, and on the sidewalk there's civilians. And of course, I'm like, what's going to happen? And then you just run over a bunch of civilians. You kill them all. I didn't feel anything.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, this is crazy. You can do this in a game. Because up until that point, you play a game usually where it's just like,
it just wouldn't let
you can't.
Yeah.
It's
just like the people were just like, you'd run through them and they'd still be there.
Yeah, or they just go, you'd hit them with a weapon.
Stop,
they're like, ah.
Yeah, right.
But for them to fly over the hood of your car.
Yeah.
I didn't feel anything, and so I don't know, like, to your point about like video games, violence, school shooters, I don't know the psychology. I don't feel like I know. Violence is embedded in our culture, and I think there's a reason that it's more prominent in the US because of violence being something that's very much so part of our not DNA, but it's in our culture.
Mm-hmm. It's in our video games.
It's in our video games. It's in our. I mean, it's in our
films,
romanticizing the Wild West, and dominating and doing whatever we want, whatever. But the amount of people that I know that play remarkably violent video games or watch remarkably violent things there's nothing that's interested. They're some of the most peaceful people I know.
Sure.
And so what my thought is that with the development of how realistic though video games are going to be, I thought of this the other day. I was like, if GTA gets to be this level of real where you're like, it's pretty close. It's like I'll watch a video game trailer now and I'm like, it'll take me usually a little bit before I'm like, oh, this is a video game.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like the trailers that are happening now are not yet fully AI enabled.
Yes.
Like that technology hasn't fully come into video game development.
So when what is it called? NPC or whatever, like when that's just not
non-playable
character, but like the non-playable characters now you think of just like, all right, there's a pre-programming here. They're kind of on repeat at some point. They're predictable at least. when AI fully gets merged with like all the characters, every last person who's on the sidewalk in Grand Theft Auto acts like the best AI we got right now, and it can throw you off because you're like, that just seems like a person who I know.
And it might be a person who you know because they just stole the faces from Facebook.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So like, there's an element of like, there's a weird, like in my mind, that's where the blurry happens. Like you're talking about the overlap of like what's, if you're shooting somebody in a video game, what's the difference between that and like murder or something, or like that precursor with imagination. But my thought is more so like, I feel like it's still separate, but I think there's getting a point where like when you do something, it's almost like do something in a video game. It's almost like you're actually committing it because it's so real. And that's disturbing to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have this theory that I've been working on,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't talked about it because I don't have it worked out. I'm curious if this is helpful or not. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I have this idea for like a sermon I want to do.
Yeah.
I've been like thinking about this for like a year now, where essentially it's like there's like two roads, and one road is like a road of life. And so like if you choose this road, it's like you're making a choice that leads to life. And that could be as simple as like putting real food in your body over processed food.
Yeah.
And there's another road that like leads to death. And like if all you eat is Doritos, that will kill you.
Yeah.
Now it might not kill you the way you think it's going to kill you, but like your mitochondria will start to like suffer and you'll have like metabolism problems. And
Yep.
so like every choice basically leads you towards life or towards death.
Yeah.
But then there's this thing that happened with technology where we began to like have artificial life or like simulated life
Mm-hmm.
to where it was like, hey, you don't have to choose life or death. You can like, we have this artificial thing and it's good for you and it will do good things for you.
Yeah.
And it's like we carved a road down the middle of like simulated life or artificial life. And I think it would take me an enormous amount of time. I think there's an argument to use across scripture to like see how the artificial creeps into creation.
Yeah.
And the artificial, like, yeah, you can use technology as tools. Both of you guys agreed on that right away. But there's this other thing that happens with technology where like it like tricks you into thinking it's real life.
Yeah.
And I think about like the majority of Americans who eat food that's killing them, but they think that it's not killing them.
Right.
Sure.
And so I don't know how that, I don't know if that like, that's what I got.
Yeah. That's the start. Yeah. It's a good moment for a pause, I think.
Pause. I can pause too.
No, I think
Are we stuck?
I think the empty space.
Oh yeah, this freezes.
I think the empty space is good. Like to just let it ruminate.
Yeah, I recently deleted everything thinking that it was going to stop the freezing issue.
Yeah.
But it just, you'll hear this dinging noise and then it'll show us moving again.
Okay.
So the audio is still running because you can see right there is the audio level.
Yeah.
And you can see the timer going. But yeah,
it's a good still shot right
it's
there.
not bad.
It's a good still shot.
It's not bad. Yeah.
No one's smiling and no one's looking super stern.
Yeah.
They're just
We always look like we're ready for a photo.
Are these our natural faces?
I look pretty stern, honestly.
That's you're naturally stern.
Yeah. I'm emotionally naturally stern. My heart on my sleeve.
I'm trying to think about. I'm trying to internalize what you're saying. So, if I'm on the right track, let me know. You're kind of saying like there's an obviousness. Interesting. There's an obvious aspect to we know the preservatives or whatever that we're putting in our body, like these things aren't good, but we're willing to do it anyways because we drank the Kool-Aid to some extent.
They, to the best of my knowledge, we're doing all kinds of things that disrupt the life that God intended for us.
Sure.
And we are like actively and willfully doing things that disrupt our lives and lead us towards death, thinking that it's leading us towards life.
Yeah.
And most of those things are like artificial in nature.
Right.
And like even like artificial light.
Yeah.
Like you go to an office complex and you're like, there is no sunshine.
Yeah.
And you're stuck in artificial light. And it's like incredible that we can light up rooms.
Yeah.
But we could also build a building that was designed to allow sunlight in,
Right.
which would be better for everyone.
Sure.
And there's this whole class of things that we've done with technology where like, look what we can do. And it's like incredible and it's marvelous. And it's even kind of miraculous.
I don't feel any moodiness or like being thrown off when I'm in Costco and there's no windows.
Yeah.
I feel fine. I feel good. But it's all artificial. I mean, everything's artificial.
Even the pizza.
Even the pizza. The most authentic thing is like elderly people serving you food. So there's no, to get your point about like, you know, we build these buildings where it just intentionally blocks out the sun. And we can have artificial light and it's not good for us, but we can even think that it's great.
Yeah, just all the ways that we replicate nature. Think of like in the wintertime, and not like I don't do this, but in the wintertime, people go to tanning beds to like get the benefits of what's outside because they don't want to go outside. Now part of it's a beauty aspect because your skin gets tan, but the other part of it is like you're getting like this vitamin D. Well, you could go outside and get that, but it's more comfortable to get it on a bed in a climate controlled area. So I think of like that.
Like the grounding thing. I don't know if you guys have done like,
Yep.
And so like my parents have like a grounding pad where they like, well, we could walk barefoot, but we don't walk barefoot in the dirt. So we
could
we
go
built
outside
this
and touch
thing.
the ground, but now they have grounding beds where like you can just like ground yourself in your bed at night.
And like,
wait, what do your parents do? What is this thing?
it's like my parents and I got another buddy, my buddy Darren, who's been on the show before.
Yeah.
Darren has sheets that plug into the wall that has copper wires through them.
It grounds the sheets to the earth just through the electric. You know, you got the bottom plug there. That's the ground.
Yeah. But like, yeah, okay.
And my parents have a grounding pad underneath, in between them. I don't know, somewhere in their bed.
Let's go up 30,000 feet because you don't know that. I don't think you know a lot about grounding, right?
Well, I more so just wanted to. I know about grounding.
Okay. You sounded you're looking confused. I wanted to make sure you knew what grounding.
No,
was.
you were in the middle of talking about grounding that your parents were doing, and then you were talking about beds. So I was just like, I just wanted to know
The bed thing.
what that looked like, and then
That's
okay.
Yeah. Should we explain what grounding is for the?
Do you want to explain what grounding?
is?
Go up 30,000 feet.
Yeah, 30,000 feet.
Yeah, let's go high.
So I mean, grounding, like obviously, like you have all these health movements nowadays, and I think it's kind of going down the lane that you're talking about. Like for so many years, we ate what made us feel good, which was Doritos and Oreos and frozen pizzas and all this stuff. And now,
it doesn't make you feel good.
Not in the long term. But when you're a kid, it does.
But if you eat enough of
There's
it,
a dopamine rush that comes.
But if it becomes your normal state, you don't even know that you don't
know
feel
that-
good.
Yeah, no, that's true. I did live in that.
Until you,
it was a weird, like not alternate reality, but
you didn't know that you didn't know about coffee until.
that was exactly it. It was like this is just my normal,
Yeah.
and I would tell my wife like I feel great.
Yeah.
Like I can eat anything I want.
But you didn't know. But you didn't know that you could feel better.
There's a lot of issues I'm getting from this thing.
Yeah, and so there's all these health movements. You got the red light therapy. You got the saunas. You got cold plunges. You got all these vitamins and minerals that cost all this money, and they're supposed to like make you feel better, make you healthier, and they do. I'm not saying they don't, because I've taken part in a lot of them, but the grounding mat's just another one of those things. And it's the idea that there's an electromagnetic force in the earth, and there's an electromagnetic force in your body, and it gets off. It gets different. Like the electromagnetic force in your body is different than what's in the earth because of stressors, because of bad diets, because of what's going on mentally, and so you have to reconnect to the earth. You have to sync, right? It's part of syncing your body to the magnetic force of the earth is part of the reset process for the stressors, for like your mitochondria function. And so what they say is like you can go outside and you can be barefoot and that do that certain amount of time a day, and your body is connecting to that grounding. So you can't do that if you're in a house because there's layers between you and the earth.
Because of the carpet technology.
The carpet, right? The carpet, the flooring, whatever. I don't know why, but like it doesn't like work. It doesn't work on cement either. You have to be touching the earth. So what grounding mats do is they work through your electrical, system in your house, which is grounded to the earth. And so it extends the grounding of the earth through the wires and into whatever you have plugged in. And so if you have a grounding mat, it's taking the grounding of the earth and it's running it into that mat. And so now like you can be inside and be touching that mat, and you are connecting to the magnetic forces in the earth.
2 ideas you get to choose to pick up on.
Okay.
Idea 1, grounding and other things like it are a way of extending creation into our artificial environments. Idea 2, we can lose sync with the earth, but maybe the weirdest thing is that that we can lose sync. We've created a world that allows us to lose sync, but like for a long, long time, you couldn't lose sync.
Right.
No. Both really interesting thoughts.
I'm going to follow where my mind's going based off what you said, which may or may not get to something where your thoughts are going with it, or your prompts are going with it. I feel like there's a part, it's not, if I were to say like, if there's a main thing in this modern society that we struggle with, I think it is a lack of contentment. And I think that I don't know, like, I don't think that there's a line, because I think, again, it all comes back to wisdom. And I think that for my thought, like, I think you can have your take about raising your son without being exposed to TV, and I'm all about it. And then for me, I have a connection to like watching a show with my son, and we connect, and I find a lot of value in that. And I think it's wisdom of when to expose your child to it, wisdom of how much, like should be watched. Using it as a bonding time as opposed to like a time to just ignore my child, because like we'll watch it on the couch and like have it be a moment and we can interact. And I think so when it comes to like how should it all look, I don't know. Like I don't think that we need to know, because it's a wisdom situation. But I think a large challenge of like, we are people who are always wanting more, and that always wanting more is what could really make us lose sight of like what maybe where our wisdom got us to. So finding contentment with, I got this GameCube from my mom when I was in middle school, and I could find contentment with just like having that game. Like the game is obsolete, or that console is obsolete, but like I can still find contentment, like being able to play games on that, and then being able to have my kids play games on that. But there's this thing inside of us that's always wanting more. And what I'm thinking through as we're talking is like, what is the more that's taking us away from our experience in and around creation, and with God, that is a distraction? Because the desire to consume, I think the bigger overarching issue is a distraction from what it means to live in a fullness of other people and Jesus. And yeah, I'll stop there before I just I'll probably start repeating myself at some point. I do that a lot. I realize I'll listen to some recordings, I'll send Ethan, and I'm like, I just made my point, and then I'll just take another 3 minutes to re-explain the exact same point.
Yeah.
Just to really make sure.
That's teaching, by the way.
It is.
That's because you're a teacher.
It is, but usually that's the point where 80% of the kids go, yeah, I know.
Yeah. I become mostly aware of that in the last couple of months teaching online, where it's like, I realize that all teaching is you take one concept or idea and you approach it from 12 different angles until it's so pounded into the kid's head, but you don't know what angle is going to get it into them.
Yeah.
And so you have to do all of them.
Yeah.
So that's and you're a teacher.
Yeah.
So like that's what we do.
Yeah.
But
okay, both of you have brought up wisdom. You're like, you need to just be wise and use wisdom. But like, what is wisdom? How do you use wisdom? What is wisdom? Like, how do you discern what is good and what is not good? Because that's like the tree of knowledge of good and not good. Like, how do you?
I think most wisdom, and the only reason I jump on this so quick is because my wife and I talked about this in the last week. I think wisdom is never going to be self-proclaimed, and it's never going to be spoken on purpose. It's always something.
Say that again, because I was not expecting either of those.
Okay. Wisdom isn't going to be self-proclaimed, and it's never going to be on purpose. So a person who is wise, and the reason this came up with Melissa is Melissa said something, and she goes, "I'm not a very wise person." And I said, that is something a wise person would say.
I feel like Jane and I have that. Jane will be like, I'm not a smart person or a wise person. I'm like,
yeah.
Let's wind that up.
So the whole thing with wisdom is that I think wisdom seeps out of somebody who's so full of knowledge and experiences that it comes out of them. It's like an aura that comes out of them without them knowing. Like you even think about, like, I've been watching HBO The White Lotus season 3, and they're in Thailand
with his son,
with my son, and they're in Thailand, and like there's this moment where they're like in this Buddhist temple, and this whatever he is, the Buddhist guy in the temple, whatever he's called, he starts talking. And everything he says is like the most profound thing. But like, I think to him, he's just talking.
I kind of like where he's going with this.
Yeah.
And so like you tie it back to the Bible, like it talks about in Proverbs how the wise man has few words. The wise man is slow to speak. So like I think about that, and I think about how like words do not equate to wisdom, and knowledge doesn't equate to wisdom. Obviously, like they're tied in, but wisdom comes from something greater.
But that's exactly the opposite of what this culture believes to be wise.
Mhm.
Because
Mm.
the self-help people, they say a lot.
Oh yeah,
And they
More
have
the better.
they have so many things to say, to the point of, I mean, I'm almost like I don't know if this is even a term, an oppositionist to self-help, because I think that they're not heart's in the right place, but I think that they're like, there's good intent. I hope there is, but they put so much on somebody to have to know all of the things to do to be like them, or just remember so many different tactics or strategies to like help yourself. And wisdom's not, I think that's viewed as wisdom is like, here, what are things to help yourself, or like a lot of times with how counseling and therapy. Good, should keep going. Okay. How counseling and therapy can oftentimes go is like, how can you help yourself? And I think that's like a fundamental issue, is not that you shouldn't help yourself, but like, that's not the end of the story though.
Yeah.
I think about Proverbs, like I would say the main book about wisdom in the Bible. Like so much isn't about like all these tactics to, like, I feel like I can read a lot of Proverbs and it almost sinks in. It doesn't have to be like something I remember a lot of, but it sinks in to a point where I'm like, oh, that's natural. Anyways, I feel like you were saying more. I don't want to.
No, I think I got to the end of my thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
The example I always use, the best way I think that I understand it, I think is like both you. I'm gonna use an image, and I think my image is like what I'm saying. It's like when I had that flooring job.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't have a construction background at all. I remember I had to like use like a sander, and I had like read the manual and been told how to do it, and so like I had been given the knowledge. I like turned that thing on and put it on like it was just like, I was like, what have I just, like, I had all the knowledge.
Yeah.
I had no wisdom of how to like apply pressure or like use it, put it into practice.
Right.
And then this like, this old rugged dude with a cigarette in his mouth comes over, is like, you just scrub the whole floor, like grabs a sander, like one-handedly, like has that kind of aura or like that wisdom mastery.
Right.
And I'm just like watching how he moves. It's like Mr. Miyagi, basically.
Yeah.
Like Mr. Miyagi is wise, and it's like you're supposed to learn to move like Miyagi moves, even doing dumb things. And then it's like, oh, now I know how to like karate.
Right.
And I think about that with like the idea of following Jesus is like taking Jesus as your rabbi is to like speak like he speaks and to move like he moves. And then like until it becomes natural for you to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like considering somebody who's older, usually those people just roll their eyes at the ones who try to have a lot of wisdom that they share, because it's like it is less about what you're saying, and it's less about like even the presentation, because I feel like a lot of times the older people who I respect the most are the ones who like don't have any time for as much of the nicety, you know.
Yeah.
They're just like, what are we doing? Let's do this thing, you know. I got, you know, take care of you, I got you, whatever. But like, you know, there's a kindness or a comfort with somebody who's wise, but it's not like I don't know. It doesn't have patience for the naivety, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the things that is unique about our friendship is that all three of us write poetry.
Yeah.
So I asked the two of you if you could bring a poem or read a poem. So now this is the end part where you're each going to read a poem, and then I'm going to ask one final question.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could also like we can talk about the poems or like share, you know, the two that don't speak can share their knowledge.
Luke, do you have a take?
On my poem?
No, if you want to go first, you want me to?
Yeah, I can go.
Okay.
I was debating which poem to read, but I think Ethan recommended this one, and I think this is a good one. Just because, you know, the precursor to the poem, just because I like it when I read poetry or give someone poetry, I like them to know the context, just because poetry can be hard to understand without context.
My wife just texted a clock.
Oh, okay. So we gotta hurry.
That's fine.
Yeah. So
I mean, your wives didn't text clocks.
We'll see.
So
Not yet.
So the poem is called "There's More," and I think it has a lot to do with pursuing wisdom. I think it has a lot to do with like pursuing wisdom over knowledge, or how wisdom kind of plays a role in one's outlook on life. And I'm not usually one to read poetry out loud, so here we go. Normally I have Caleb read it. All right, the title is "There's More." There's more, there's more, there's more. More to this moment, more to this life. If chosen the narrow, if chosen the climb, to place hope in a reservoir and press on, because there is more. There's more, there's more, there's more. After a long night, beyond the storm, pursuing a future one cannot afford, lacing up shoes, picking up swords, in wisdom, because there is more. There's more, there's more, there's more. More than a paycheck, than gas in the tank, saving up pennies for the memory bank, endless riches. Though some see it as poor, don't they know there is more? In the last days of life, if the last days of life are just like the rest, and the thunder has ceased inside of this chest, alas, to wake on a golden shore and breathe in, because there is more. We have it.
That's great, man.
He's heard it. Have you heard it?
Mm-hmm.
No.
You never heard it?
No. How long did you write it?
A year ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I wrote it for my parents' anniversary.
Nice.
Yeah, I engraved it on a piece of wood. It's hanging on their wall.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you read it to him at their anniversary?
No, I just gave it to him.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, I don't understand. And my mom's like, it's beautiful. And she likes it.
Yeah, the poem's interesting in the sense of like earlier you were talking about the word more in a very negative light.
Mm-hmm.
And I like fully agree with that. And I've even been thinking lately, like, there's no good side to the word more. It's all bad. But then you read that, and I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like every word is like split down the middle of.
Yeah.
My turn?
Yeah.
All right. Did you give a title to yours?
There's more. Yeah, that was my title.
This one's called Revisiting. When you go back to the place you used to live, where the memories you left were of a certain age during a certain stage. You rediscover an unfamiliar ease. You relive those thoughts you outgrew and dig up something you buried. Not nostalgia, it's nausea.
You did one of those like final line turns where I was like kind of like tricked and thinking it was gonna be like pretty, and then at the end it was like, here's a skeleton, and I was like,
that was interesting. I was like heading in a good place, like, oh, where this is going, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, but it instantly stirs up. I think it instantly stirs up because it makes you let your guard down, and then when you realize it, it like hits you with like this childhood trauma feeling. Is that what it's about?
It's not.
Oh,
It's.
Be careful if you say what a poem is about.
I know.
It's like there's something's gonna come through that door.
It's not. Yeah, it's not like. It's not supposed to. I mean, it's a poem, so that could absolutely be.
I guess like I just hear it because it's like it's not nostalgia, it's nausea, and for me, it's like it makes you think of like the things in your life when you think about like all these things in your past because it's a nostalgic poem,
Right.
And then you get to the end and you're like, what are the things you remember from your past that make you sick to your stomach?
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm also now thinking about how like every single film is nostalgia bait. And at this point, I'm like, stop rehashing my childhood.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you money anymore.
Yeah.
It is the
It
nostalgia is nauseating.
Sure. Yeah.
But I didn't think about that right away until after you said your thing.
Yeah.
Okay, final question.
Yeah.
The series is called The Quest for the Holy Techne. And the final question is, did we find anything holy in our time together?
I'm letting you take this one first.
Oh, he wants to close.
Oh no, that if that's what that means, I
No.
feel like I've been the first to answer throughout.
No, it's helpful when you answer first because I can process. I think that if I say something, it will feel forced, and so I guess what I'll have to say is, I'll have to say no. I don't.
I'm forced to say it.
Well, because I'm not. It would feel like something I would just try to be pulling out of thin air to make it sound. It's like in a Bible study where like you just try to like really force yourself to say something significant. And yeah, I mean, I found it very. Yeah, it was very fascinating to talk about this in this sort of like a format. But I'm gonna say no.
Repeat the question. I need the question.
So the series is called The Quest for the Holy Techne.
Mhm.
So I've been like on this quest to like talk to people about technology and be like, hear what people have to say. So people bring a frame and they like want to let's discuss artificial intelligence. So I talked to a guy that was like, here's this 800-page book I wrote.
Yeah.
He's like, but I recorded so you can listen to it. So I listened to some chapters.
Yeah.
I talked to this Catholic guy who was like wrote this white paper that was really interesting about like subsidiarity. And I'm like, okay. I talked to
What's
this.
that word?
I'll send you the recording.
Fair enough.
And a lot of times people are like, well, what do you mean by holy and what do you mean by techne? So then I answer that question the way what I think those words mean. And so then I've been ending all of these with that question of like, did we find anything holy in the conversational quest?
Sure. Yeah, I guess I would say that when thinking about like how does holiness relate to this topic and to our discussion? And once again, like, how do you define holy? And I guess, like, on a whim, I would say like holiness is defined by the one who is holy, by God. And so how does God reveal himself through the conversation that we just had, would be like how I would answer this. And I would say that like, I think that God, without sounding like, I'm trying to think, like, how do I say it without it sounding like real, like, new agey, but like, God is kind of in everything that we talked about, because like all these things revolving around like technology, like God created all these things, and he created us to be able to learn and discover them and to be creative with them. And going back to like what you were saying, like, we can choose to use these things for good, we can choose to use these things for bad, or we can choose to just be indifferent about them. And so I would say, like, in discovering holiness, I would say like how, and even like going into like the poetry thing, like how God has given us all the ability to create, and the technologies that we talked about are creations. They're things that we made. And so I would say they're holy in the sense that like they're a display of the character of God that he has instilled in us, because he's made us creators, and this is what we've created. That's my answer.